Hello ninjas, and welcome to the Coder Dojo. How's everyone today? All been keeping well? Ready to do some platforming today? I don't know if you can see, but I've got a little cat currently on the desk keeping me company. He seems to be very fascinated by my microphone stand. Jin, over here. So, we've got another game from Evie Games that she sent in. In the meantime, if you guys have got any games you'd like me to play, write that in chat, because after this, I'd like to play some games that you guys have made while we're waiting, as we traditionally do, for more people to arrive. For the Coder Dojo to begin. All right, kitten. Getting in the way. All right. So Evie's got a game called Dress and Disco. Let's have a look at this. Now, this is really interesting because this is actually a really good showcase of some different effects that we haven't used a lot in our tutorials. So, for one thing, so this is a dressing up game. So you can move around all of the clothing items. That's very cool. But one other thing that Evie's done is Evie has set up all of these effects as sliders. So we can pixelate these fairies, which is kind of cool because they start looking like retro, game sprites. We can get really pixelated. That looks very old school. You can change the color of them all. It looks like they have some kind of poison effect. It's like, oh no, the fairies have been poisoned. Or, oh no, now they've been frozen. Ghost effect is actually very cool. I really like this effect. It makes things transparent. You can kind of make things fade out of existence and fade back in using ghost effect, which I think is really, really cool. Mosaic is interesting, but I haven't actually found that many uses for it. It basically duplicates up the sprite into smaller and smaller pieces, like a mosaic. Fisheye, again, is funny. It's like, oh dear. Whirl, again, is kind of funny. Actually, I kind of like this one because it kind of looks like they're dancing. Very cool, very cool. And brightness as well I find very useful. If you make them entirely bright, they become white. Brightness is quite good for if it looks like you want something to have taken damage. Old video games often have things flash white if they take damage, just as a visual indicator to the player. So that's pretty cool. And this is next button. All right, let's find out what this next button does. Oh, that's cool. Oh, now they're moving. All right. So I've got to see if this works. Oh, it does. That's actually pretty good. That's very cool. And I think there's music playing as well, but I have my computer muted just in case there's music that is, going to be a problem for YouTube. YouTube, if popular music plays, YouTube will sometimes mute your video, which is frustrating. All right, let's have a look at the chat. Welcome Pratik, welcome Blake, welcome William. How are you guys all doing today? Hope you are all keeping well. Oh, Blake, you've updated the breakout. Nice. Well, tell you what, let's have a play of that, shall we? Anyone else who's got a game for me to play, write into chat. Say which game. You can't link me to it, unfortunately. I don't know if you've been putting links in, because YouTube automatically deletes the link from chat. It doesn't even give me the option of letting you put links in. Someone was telling me, it was UJ actually, another Coder Dojo mentor, was telling me that there should be a way of enabling links in chat, but I've been looking and I've been Googling it, and I can't figure it out so far. Okay, so let's have a look at Infamous's account and let's look at Breakout. Ooh, okay. Let's see what happens, shall we? Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Longest time. Oh, they're all coming down. It's like Space Invaders. That's actually pretty interesting. Impossible to lose for 20 seconds. Oh, it's like a power-up. Blake, I lost during the impossible to lose section. Is that what that means? Impossible to lose for 20 seconds? Oh, and it's different colors each time. That's kind of cool. Come on. All right, let's see. If now the question is, what happens when they all go away? I'm very curious. Oh. I suppose I've still got to stay alive, don't I, by keeping the ball up. Okay, I think I've broken the record, Blake. I think I've broken the record. Possible to lose for 20 seconds. I see. All right. Maybe I needed to put my name in. Longest time alive is now 61. Did I need to put my name in at the beginning? Username. Right, yes. And I didn't... What sets up the username? Maybe that's not inputted yet. That's fine. That's very cool, Blake. I like that. I like that change. Alrighty. Do we have anyone else who's got some games for me to play? We've still got a few more minutes. Before we start, we normally start at about 3:40, just to make sure everyone's got time. Alrighty, well, let's... Now, was it Catman Sim who said he had something for me to play? And he's Crazy Kid in chat. I can't remember from yesterday. I say yesterday, I mean Tuesday. Tuesday was when we had our last session. Splatoon. Alright, well, we have a bit of time. Let's go and do Splatoon. Let's have a look. Splatoon! The other thing as well is if you have any games for me to play but you can't write it in chat for whatever reason, leave a comment on one of the YouTube videos saying, during the next Coder Dojo, can you play my game or this game? And you can, I think, link in the YouTube comment, although I could be wrong. Either way, if you just say, my Scratch name is this, play my Splatoon game. Aha, yes, so it's meant to be Splatoon, I think. Yes, Splatoon. This is an interesting one. I remember we worked on this together at the Bullsbrook Coder Dojo. I've actually been tempted to turn this one into a session as well. Like this is something that we'll probably end up doing in one of these Coder Dojo sessions. Alrighty, so how do we get the game to start? Yep, cool, there's one round. Press the green flag when you get into the game. Read the goal after 1 plus press start. Aha! All right. Okay, yeah, cool. So this is a two-player game. So one part of the keyboard is controlling one Splatoon character. Have you guys played Splatoon before? It's a Switch game, right? I think? Nintendo Switch. And so you can play this two-player on the same keyboard. You've got arrow keys and WASD. It'd be an interesting thing. It wouldn't be too hard to program a what's it called? It wouldn't be too hard to program I'll get there in the end. AI opponent. That would probably be possible. But we haven't done any two-player games so far, so this could be quite good. So we came up with quite a clever solution to figuring out who had won and who hadn't. The solution that we came up with is you'd have a sprite, a little tiny sprite, that would basically, this one here, the counting sprite, it's just one little dot, and it would travel across the entire map like this and see if it was touching blue or if it was touching red, and then award points for each one. And it happens so fast that it counts it all up and it gives you a score. Yeah, look, 602 for the player 1 and 742 for player 2. So it counts up, and hopefully that gives you a more or less accurate depiction of how much paint you've managed to leave on the screen. Because that's how Splatoon works. You win if you leave more paint on the screen. Oh, a Paperio game. Interesting, William. A Paper.io game. Paper like paper.io. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. All right, very cool. And as always, feel free to let me know if you've got any suggestions for lessons like you'd like to do in the future. Let's leave this one. Okay. So I will quickly show you what we're going to be doing today. This is our platformer game. We're going to create an enemy. We're going to make a flying bat. And we're going to make it so that if we jump on top of the flying bat, so the flying bat, if it touches us, will kill us. It resets the game. But if we manage to find a way, to jump on top of the flying bat, we killed the flying bat, like a Mario game. So I have the bat just disappearing, but in Mario, traditionally, when you jump on an enemy, it sort of goes, "Wah!" and falls down. And that's very satisfying. And that's the thing that you could do. We're not going to have time for it today, but that's the thing that you absolutely could do. So everyone get your platformer project set up now. If you haven't done, hey AD and AJ, nice to have you. Nice to have you here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to post in chat Platformer Part 2. If you don't have up-to-date code for doing Platformer Part 1 and Platformer Part 2, just follow this link that I've put in chat and click on Remix, and that will get you completely up to date. If you already have your own platformer project, just go to that, and that's fine. Now, while everyone's sorting that out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over here. And I'm just going to do the normal thing. This is so I don't know if you've noticed, but I've changed how some of these are named. So I'm giving them difficulties now. So this is a medium one. So I'm not going to, so for this session, because it's a part 3 session, I'm not going to do the thing where I explain how Scratch works, because I assume that everyone who's doing this has used Scratch before because it's medium difficulty. And moving forwards, I'm going to try and have all of my different Koto Dojo sessions either be easy, medium, or like challenging or something like that. And that way, then, we can have sessions that are explicitly for people who haven't used Scratch before, and that way I can explain how Scratch works, but otherwise I assume everyone else has already used Scratch before. If you haven't, oh yes, thank you about the welcome sign. Come on, don't delete the wrong thing. Good. If you haven't used Scratch before, then let us know and we'll help you out as best as we can, okay? But I think it's the usual crew today. So as always, set up with 2 screens if possible, so that there's the stream on one of them and your computer on the other. If you spam, I'll time you out and keep things clean in chat, and use an online version of Scratch if possible. Make sure that your project is shared, and if you run into problems, remind me of your Scratch username, because as you guys know, my memory's terrible. I mean, you can just see how often I forget to remove that. The lesson will be starting soon. All right. Okay, so let's go straight into this, guys. So everyone, make your way. Actually, let's start off with something nice and optional, just in case people are still sorting themselves out and arriving. So this is something that you may or may not have to do, but it's something that I'm going to do. So you can see that my fox doesn't really fit very well inside the square. So I'm just going to show you something that's really kind of useful when you're dealing with sprites that Scratch has already made. And you can do some very cool stuff with this. So I'm just going into my sprite, and you can actually sometimes, depending on how the sprite is set up, click on individual parts of the sprite and change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this tail, I'm going to move it so it's like this, and I'm just going to stick that like there. And it doesn't look perfect, but I think that's fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this, and I'm just going to center it a bit more. I might need to just raise that up a little bit. So now if I start the game, so now that looks a lot better. And if I were to briefly make it so that the player box is visible, yeah, that looks much nicer. So you can do that if you want. I think I'm happy with this. This is good enough. The other thing that you could do is you could change the size of your player box as well. All right, so now that I've gotten that bit out of the way, and that might be something that's interesting, new information to you. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to tidy up our code. So we're going to go to the player code. Now, I think everyone who's here has done the previous 2 sessions of Platformer Part 1 and Platformer Part 2. But just to remind everyone, our player and all the player code is inside this box. The skin just follows the box around. This means that this block, collides really well with all of the platforms. If we did collision through the player skin, you'd have these annoying things like the tail, the nose getting stuck on platforms, getting stuck in platforms, that kind of thing. It's very messy. The platforms have multiple costumes that are all named after the levels. And the lava has multiple costumes that are all named after the levels as well. So you can add as many levels as you want by adding more costumes to the platforms and the lava. And if you want just empty costumes, you can just do it that way. Now, there are probably cleaner ways of doing this, but this is an easy way of doing it. So if you just make the new costumes, make sure that they're named the number, which is the level that you want to be them to be on. I can words. Then that works out pretty well, and you can also save a lot of time by doing things like copying costumes. Like if I wanted to take this one, I could just right-click and duplicate it, and then very quickly move stuff around and change up the level quite a bit. I'll just delete that for now. So I find that works pretty well. So what we need to do now is we're going to take some of our code and we're going to make it neater to remind ourselves how it all works. And because moving forward, this is going to make things a lot easier when we understand what all the code does. So we're going to do this by making my blocks. So everyone come along with me to where the red category is on the middle left of the screen where it says my blocks. And we're going to make, I think it is, we're going to make 4 blocks. So we're going to go to make a block, that grey button, once we've clicked on my blocks. And the first one is going to be called X movement. Can I spell? Yeah, okay. So you just name it there, X movement, and press OK. Now you should have a little define X movement block already put onto your screen. The next one that we're going to do is called Y movement. So again, you just click on this make a block button. We haven't used it much, but we should be using it more because it makes the code a lot easier to read and modify later. We're going to make another one. We're going to call this one next level. Are you guys next level? Is chat next level today? And then the last one that we're going to make is called lava. All right, so you should have X movement, Y movement, next level, and lava. So the first one that we need, once we've got all those 4, is Y movement. We need Y movement. So we need to look at all of this code underneath when green flag clicked, and we need to figure out what in here does all of our Y movement. So give me the first and last line that we need to take from the forever loop and put into Y movement. If you understand what I'm getting at, just write into chat what do you think is the first line that starts our Y movement code and the last line in our Y movement code. Alrighty. I'll give you a bit of time just to make sure you've got that into chat. Because the answer is, so that first line is change Y by -7. And the last line is change Y by 7. So if you were to grab all of this code, put it under Y movement, and now what you need to do is grab the if key right arrow pressed and put it back inside the original forever loop. Does that make sense to everyone? So we've just moved this chunk of code, change Y by -7, if touching platforms, then set can jump to yes and change Y by 7, because all of that code is our Y movement. As a reminder, X is left and right movement, Y is up and down movement. So all this code here is all to do with our Y movement. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of these Y movement blocks up in the left of the screen and put it in just inside our forever at the very top, just underneath where it says forever. Okay, so everyone following me so far? Now, we've done this once before, but just to remind you, what this does, basically, is it creates a function. This Y movement block, this is now your personal block, and that block does everything here, where it does all of this. Whenever you put in your little Y movement block somewhere, it will do all of this. Now, this is really useful to not have to type out the same code over and over again if you need it in two different places. So if you had simple code that does anything, arrow, bullet movement, arrow movement, something, and you didn't want to have to type out that, you didn't want to have to make that code each time, you could create it once, and then everywhere you needed that code in your code, you would be able to just put this little Y movement, and it's like a shortcut that links to everything that is here. Okay. So now we have this Y movement shortcut inside our main forever loop, which is underneath the when green flag clicked. And we should have this amount of code inside define Y movement. And this is going to make it easier if we ever want to change the way our Y movement works or our X movement. So the next thing that we need is our X movement. So let's grab define X movement. Alrighty, so AD and AJ, what you need to do is you need to get the code that was underneath where it says forever. You need to get, and it should start by saying change Y by -7. And you need everything up until the end of that first if. So the last thing you'll see is the change Y by 7 and then the orange of the if. I'll just put it up on screen. Hopefully you guys can see. So this bit here, this red block here, Y movement will link to this here. And this used to be there in place. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, it's true, AD and AJ. These blocks, these my blocks, will be contained within just one sprite, but that's fine. Sometimes you might have lots of code in that sprite, and you want to keep it clean. This is just a good way of figuring out what all of our code does as well, because it's all very well you looking at all the stuff that I'm doing and copying it, but it's also important that you understand what each of the bits does. Okay. Or Blake. I think Blake was saying, but blocks don't move to different sprites. Anyway, so are we all up to date now? Because we're going to do it again. We need to get everything that defines X movement. So how much of our code here, underneath when green flag clicked, defines X movement? Write write in chat. What do you think? How much of this, all of this, defines X movement? So once you've got your answers in chat, the answer is you need these. So there's actually two big if statements which also have another if statement inside them. One of them starts with if key right arrow pressed, and the other one starts with if key left arrow pressed. You want just those two if statements, okay? So again, just drag it all over, and then drag back what you don't need. So now, X movement, this is what it should contain. Move you out the way. So you've got these two big if statements. One of them starts if key right arrow pressed, and the other one starts if key left arrow pressed, and then you don't want anything underneath. Okay? Now we need to put our little X movement block right underneath the Y movement block. Now I know this seems like it's a bit needless, but trust me, keeping your code clean is important. Making it so it's easy for you to read, because even code that you've written, sometimes you go back to it later and you forget how you did it. You forget, how you arranged it. This is really useful to do. All right, you guys all still with me? So we have two more, and these are very little. So it should be nice and easy. We just have two different if statements. One, if X position more than 239, then change level by 1, broadcast restart. That if statement needs to go inside define new level. And then there's another if statement, very simple, if touching lava, then broadcast restart. That needs to go in lava. And then again, we just need next level to go inside our main forever loop. And then we need lava to go at the bottom of our main forever loop. So now, this is nicely organized. We've got our 4 different custom blocks, the my blocks, and they all tell us what they do. And they are all running inside this forever loop here. So if anyone's having any problems, let me know. Now have a quick test of your code, make sure everything still works. Make sure that you can jump, make sure that you die if you touch the lava, make sure that all the movement's working okay. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create our enemy. So is the arrangement of blocks important? Example, what if Y movement was underneath X movement? Okay, AD/AJ. The order can be important. In this case, just do the order that I've done. But sometimes the order is very important. Sometimes it isn't. With this code, I'm just trying to look at it and trying to figure out if anything would break if we moved them around. I mean, I don't think so. But I do think, like if we did it in a slightly different way, I wonder, so the first thing that should always happen is gravity. Gravity should always happen first. Just good practice. But yeah, to answer your question, just keep it the same order. So Y movement, X movement, next level, lava. It will, so for example, here's a good example of how changing the order will make a difference. So you can see that next level happens before lava. So those are two different checks. First, our player code checks to see, have I touched the right side of the screen? Can we go to the next level? And if the answer is yes, then it sends you to the next level. Then afterwards, it checks, have I touched the lava? If so, send the player back to the beginning of this level. So if you had lava above next level, that means if you touch the screen and the lava at the same time, it will kill you before it sends you to the next level. But the way that we've got it, if you jump and you leap and you just about touch you touch the screen and the lava at the same time, it will send you to the next level and not kill you. That's the only big difference that I can tell. But yeah, maybe have an experiment. See if you get some glitches if you mix up the order. But if you aren't confident, just keep it at that same order. Okay, so let's make our enemy. So let's make a bat enemy, because I want to animate this enemy. And we're going to start off with just the one enemy, and we're going to do it in a very simple way, but I want you to have a think about how you would like your enemies to move, and where you would like them to spawn, that kind of thing. But follow along with me. We'll make a flying bat enemy, and then after that we'll program a way to be able to jump on it and kill it. Okay, so we're going to choose a sprite. I'm going to choose a bat. I actually really like this bat sprite. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Let's try making it 50. I think 50 is a good size. All right, and once we've all made our bat sprite, let's do... So I'm going to show you a simple way of setting up this bat sprite, and you can sort of change how this works. If you're like, oh, we've got a cat. Don't know if you can see in the video, but you might see the tail actually. Hello, Banshee. How's it going? Cat emojis in the chat, please. Hello. Are you going to walk on my keyboard? Look, you're famous now. You're YouTube famous. All right, down we go. All right, so let's put our code. Oh, you've got your toe stuck in my shirt. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to animate our bat. We're going to start off with something nice and easy. So what we need to do is in our bat code, we need to grab a when green flag clicked. Let's make this a bit bigger for you all. Then we're going to get a hide. You'll know why we have a hide later. Then we're going to go to motion, and we're going to set rotation style to left, right. And then we're going to go to events or control, classic mistake. We're going to go to control, and we're going to get a forever loop. I'm going to put that underneath set rotation style. You're getting kicked out by YouTube, Blake. That's strange. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a weight. We're going to put a weight inside the forever loop. We're going to change it from wait 1 second to, let's try 0.3 seconds. And then we're going to do a simple next costume. So we go to looks, the purple category. We grab next costume and put that underneath the weight. And then once you've got all of that in, hit go. Let's see. Oh, it's hidden, isn't it? All right. So yeah, you can hit the eye in the middle right of your screen, underneath where it says Sprite Bat. Are you purring into the microphone, Banshee? And you can click the eye to make sure it's shown, just so you can see it animating. This looks good. This looks fine. What's up with you? You want attention? So if everyone's got that code, that's the nice easy bit. Nice bit of animation. So rotation style, left, right. is so that the bat can point at the player and not look like it's going upside down and turning around really strangely. So now what we're going to do is we're going to program our bat to appear when we get the restart message. And then we're going to program the bat to always move towards the player. Can you hear the purring? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to events, and we're going to grab a when I receive block. So that's to do with broadcasts. We have, I think, just the one broadcast so far, and our broadcast is called restart, and it's what happens when we touch the lava. It's also what happens when we get a new level. It's what happens when, So what we're going to do is we're going to do a simple solution, just basically to make the bat always appear. But you could figure out a way of creating a list of which levels the bat should appear and which levels the bat shouldn't appear. And if you want to get really clever, you could start doing things with clones and making multiple bats appear on certain levels. We're going to just start off with something simple, and then you guys can build on it. So when I receive restart, we're going to tell the bat to go to somewhere. So you can decide where you want your bat to go. I suggest not too high, because we need to be able to jump on this bat. So let's see. I put in go to x equals 200 and y equals 50 underneath when I receive restart. That's what I did. And the other thing that we need to do is we need to show. What's up? So yeah, we need to have a show, and then we need to create a forever loop underneath the show. And then we need to do if touching player. So this is going to be, so how do we get it so that our player dies and it resets? What do we need after our if touching player? So first we grab our if, we put it inside the forever, then we go to sensing, down we go kitten. So we need to get a touching player. So forever if touching player, how do we restart the level? Put your answers into chat. I'll give you some time to make sure you get them in. Everyone following me okay so far? The answer is we broadcast restart. Nice and simple. We have this broadcast that makes the level restart. Now, I'm not a fan of using broadcasts because they seem to be a bit glitchy. They're glitchier than variables are. But in this case, I decided to use broadcasts because it is an easy way to send a message to all sprites. In fact, one of the biggest problems that I had in trying to figure out an easy way to make clones of the bats was that we have this, when I receive restart, make some bats, but also all of the existing bats who are still alive when you die need to receive a message to delete themselves, so it gets confusing. Anyway, don't worry about that. That was a thing that came up when I was making this lesson. So, if we've all got that, then what we need to do is test it. Oh, wait. No, we need... Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, we can test it. So the bat's not going to... Oh, yes. So, first of all, the bat's not going to appear on level 1, but it should appear on level 2, wherever you told it to appear. Now, see if you can reach it. If not, go to a level where you can reach it, and see if you can touch it. If touching it is like touching the lava, does it send you back to the beginning of the level? That seems good, yeah. So that seems to work. So I've got the bat, it's animating, it's not moving yet. But if I touch it, it sends me back to the beginning of the level. It's like touching the lava. Good. So now, what we need to do is we need to make the bat move towards the player. So, how do we do that? We need 2 lines. What 2 lines do we need? Write them in chat now. I'll give you some time. We're going to motion, the dark blue category, which makes sense, because this is all to do with movement. And then we're going to grab move. We'll leave it at 10 steps for now. And then we want point towards, and it'll say point towards mouse pointer, but we want it to point towards the player. So now, this bat very quickly is probably moving across the screen and killing you over and over and over again. So let's set this to a slower pace. Okay, all right, 1. That's pretty slow. Now, what we need to do now is, well, what I want us to do now is I want us to make this bat move faster depending what level we're on. So, first of all, let's try something simple, and then let's try something better. So we're going to need to tie the amount of steps that this bat is moving to the level that we're on, so that as the level gets higher, the number of steps gets higher. So let's do this very simply. Let's get move 1 step plus level steps. So we go to do that, we go to operators, we get a plus operator, and we put it inside the move steps. So now it should be move something plus something steps. So then we put the first number in as 1, and then what do we put in the second number? Give you some time to answer in chat, or at least shout it at your screen if you're not in chat at the moment. We'll say 1 plus level. Now, let's test this. So once you've got that, move 1 plus level steps, point towards player. If you're already on a really high level, what's going to happen is the bat is going to move too fast. Because look, it's moving 4 steps like every... So yeah, my game's impossible as well, Blake. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the amount of speed it gains per level is smaller. How do we do that? We've done it once or twice before, so we need to make sure, because currently it moves 1 step. In fact, no, first it moves 2 steps, because it's 1 plus 1 plus 1, because we start on level 1. Then it moves 3 steps, then it moves 4 steps, then 5 steps. It gets too fast, too quickly. Anything that's moving, because this movement is happening like many times a second, so it's moving too quickly. So we need to make it so that the amount of speed it gains per level is much smaller. So I hope you've got your answers in chat, how we're going to do that, because I'm going to give you the answer now. Are you ready? We're going to use divide. So go to operators, grab something divided by something, this one here, and then grab your level and put it in the first part of the divide. Just have the divide off to the side for the moment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever level is and we're going to divide it by a number so that it becomes a lot smaller. So let's try 3. So that means on level 1, the buff it gets is 0.3-ish. And level 2, it's like 0.6-ish. And then on level 3, the buff it get, the amount of speed boost it gets is only 1. And you can see we have to get all the way to level 6 for that speed boost to become up to 2. So that level divided by 3, put that back as the second number in your 1 plus. So now it should be moving, like it's definitely moving, but it shouldn't be as quick. We also have no way of defeating this yet. Now, if you want to make it so that it moves even slower, you have 2 options. You can either make the first number, in my case it's move 1 plus level divided by 3. You can make this first number slower. So you could make this like 0.5 or something like that, make it move really slowly at the beginning, but ramp up its speed as you get to higher and higher levels. The other option is if we've got this level divided by 3, if you make that 3 higher, then it will make the level speed bonus less, because it's dividing it by a higher number. Don't worry too much about the maths. Don't worry about it. If you don't understand it, don't worry. If you do understand it, if you've got up to that point with like no understanding maths and such, then it's really useful. If you don't understand it, don't worry about it. All you need to know is, if you want it to be even slower, play around with these numbers. Try making the move 1 a lower number, so like 0.5 or something like that, or try making the divided by 3 a higher number. Try divided by 4 or divided by 5 to make the speed bonus a smaller increment, a smaller number. I'm going to stick with this, but we'll see how I go. I might need to come back and change this. Very good, guys. Well done, William. Got it. So now what we need to do is we need to create a way to defeat this bat. We need to be able to jump on it, Mario style. So what we're going to do... now, is everyone up to date with that? Everyone's got that working? If anyone's stuck, let me know, because we're going to move on to making what I like to call the Killzone, which is the zone that we're going to make that's going to destroy this bat. So, the other thing as well is I hope you're happy with your player box right now. If not, let me know in the YouTube comments and I can help you figure out how to change your player box a little bit, because we're going to make the player box we're going to make the kill zone the same size as the player box. So right click on the player sprite. Everyone do this with me now. Right click on it. We're going to duplicate. Duplicate. Do not press delete. You'll be so sad if you do. So now we should have 2 player boxes. Player and player 2. Now player 2 has a ton of code in it. Now make sure you do this in player 2. First, rename player 2 to Killzone. Or something like that. Death Zone, Jump Zone, Jump Box, something like that, because this is going to be how we jump on our enemies and destroy them. Then, once you've renamed it, we need to get rid of all the code that's inside, specifically Killzone. So make sure that you're not doing this in the player. You've got to make sure you're doing this in that duplicated one, that duplicated sprite. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change this box so that it is red. So go into the costumes. I'm just going to change this so it's red. And what we are going to do is the code is actually going to be very simple. We're going to get a when green flag clicked. This is the only code that you want in your Killzone. We want to go to looks, grab a set color effect to 0. Now we don't want to change the color effect, we want to set the ghost effect to 100. That's going to make this box become invisible, but the game will still be able to detect it, just like our player box is invisible, but the game can still detect it. And we're going to get a forever loop from control, and then we're going to go to motion. We're going to grab a go to random position and a change Y. So make sure you get a change Y. So we need this to go to not a random position, but we need it to go to player, and then we need to change Y by -10. Okay? So this is all the code that you need in your Killzone. When green flag clicked, set ghost effect to 100. Forever. Go to player, change Y by -10. Hope you've got all that, because we're going to have to do some of this a little bit speedily for the rest of the code. What I want you to do now, actually set this ghost effect to, set it to 50 instead of 100, because I want to see this. And then do the same thing in the player. Find where it says set ghost effect to 100 and set it to 50 instead. And start your game again. And now you should see these ghostly boxes. And you should see there's a purple one on top and a red one underneath. Now the red one does move a little bit around. Okay? That's what you should have. The red one should be underneath, the purple one should be on top. Now, what you need to do is we need to go back to the bat code. Is everyone with me so far? So if you hit go, you should be seeing these two boxes. If you don't see them, you have your ghost effect set to 100. Try setting the ghost effect to 50. The other thing that we need to do is we need to, so we go to the bat code, and we're going to go back to when I receive restart. Okay? And we are going to make a very simple bit of code that says if touching Killzone, hide. Nice and simple. And remember, if a sprite is hidden, then it can't interact with anything. It can't touch anything. It can't do anything. It can do stuff, but it can't do collision. That's what I'm saying. So what we need to do is we need to get another if. Put this underneath the other if. Make sure all that move stuff doesn't get sucked into this if statement, so move that down again, because this is our sprite moving. And then we're going to get a touching, put it into that second if statement. We want to be if touching Killzone, then we go to looks and hide. So this is the code that we need. So this code needs to be when I receive restart, go to X and something, Y something, show. Forever, if touching player, broadcast restart. Then the new bit that we put in, right underneath that, is if touching Killzone, then hide. And then after that, we have move and point towards player. So, let's have a test of that. I'll do it with my... so now... Now, I need to get to a spot where it's easier for me to jump on my bat. Uh-oh. Alright. There we go. So now you can jump on your bat, and it will disappear. And how do we make those boxes disappear again? As in make them invisible so that they're not appearing as we're playing the game? Write your answers in chat now. We want to make our player box and our Killzone box invisible. If you're looking at my screen, then you'll see the answer. Because the answer is you've got to find where it says set ghost effect. And set ghost effect to 100 in both the player and the Killzone. We changed it to 50 so we could see them. You can leave it on if you like. If you like seeing the boxes, that's fine. Alrighty. Oh. Now what you might need to do is, as I said before, hey, did it. You might need to change some of your level design. I've only got a couple of levels, but you might need to change your level design. And also, if you don't like the bat speeding up the longer you play, you can just change that if you want. You could just make the bat move the same speed for every level. So yeah, that's basically how it works. How did everyone go? We've added in enemies now to our platformer game. We've made it so that we can Mario jump on our enemies. There are some kind of cool things that you could do about making the bat appear in different places, on different levels. Scratch doesn't have any easy ways of storing... I thought of doing that with lists. There's definitely ways of doing it. Have a think yourself. And also, everyone click shared, because I want to play your games now. So write in chat your Scratch name if you are ready to go. If your game is up to date. I want to see if you've got any new levels as well. All right, I'm just gonna go straight for Infamous. Let's see. Do you have your platformer? Is it saved? Okay. Oh, it's looking good. Let's see. Now, Infamous hasn't said he's ready, so if it's not ready, that's fine. It might not have saved. All right, cool. So yeah, we can see the kill box. Make sure I don't jump into that lava. I do like that with this particular code that we've done, it allows you to do sort of like, you can step off a ledge and jump. There's this sort of period of time that you can jump after you step off a ledge. And I kind of like that. A lot of games actually have that as a mechanic. It feels good, in my opinion. All right, how do we... Uh-oh. Oh, I know. Uh-oh. Okay. We've got to get there in time. We've got to get across here. And that way we can jump on. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be real tough. Alright, got to get a bit low. Oh, no. Okay. So obviously, Blake made a lot of these levels before we put the bat in. Now, the other thing as well is you can change, if you find your bat is spawning too high for you to jump on it, you could spawn it a bit lower. What line of code would you change to do that? You're level 5 impossible. I did it. Did you see that? Okay. Now I'm just going to make sure I don't fall in the lava because I don't know if I can do that again. Oh, the impossible level. I just beat it, Blake. I just beat it. Oh, goodness, though. How am I going to... Okay. Ha! Nope. Nope. Be really low. Try and... Alright. Nice and low. Come on. Go get the bat really low. And then... Oh, I did it once. Oh, no. Okay. We'll try one more time. Yes, you're quite right, Blake. You would change it through the go-to. I even beat level 6. Oh, no. This is going to be really rough, though. How do I get up there? Oh, I just about did it. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, this could be really hard. How about everyone else? Is your level ready to go? Are your platformers ready to go? Oh no, come on. Okay, let's try having it. Okay, I think the way to beat this one is we've got to hop up at the last second onto that platform once it's as low as we can get it. Oh, that might not be possible. All right, level 7 might be the one that defeats me, Blake. Come on. All right. Little bit more. Little bit more. Oh, so close. All right. Oh, look at this. Look at this. How far can we get? Oh, this looks very tricky. I'm not convinced I can beat this one. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I was overthinking it. There we go. Have I looped yet? Oh! There we go. All right. Awesome. Beat it. Beat it. I think that's the end, right? See inside. I like your level design, Blake. Yeah, we made it. We made it. So, that game is technically beatable, Blake. It's very hard, but technically beatable. How about everyone else? How did everyone else go? Can I see some of the levels that you've made? We've got a bit of time before we need to pack up today. I would really like to play some of your games. Let's try Yo-Yo Cake. Yep. Platformer Remix. Very nice. Huh. Oh, okay. So... Oh, it might not be updated. Oh, it's A and D. A and D and what's space? W. All right, cool, that's fine. Oh. So this is interesting, actually, because... I think... So this is interesting. So we are able to kill the bat by touching it, not necessarily jumping on it. So what do you think is different in Yo-Yo Cake's version that allows this? Like we can touch it like this. Yep, that kills it. What about if I touch it on the side? Yep, that kills it. Everyone write your answers in chat. What do you think is different in... Oh, we died that time. Interesting. What do you think is different in Yo-Yo Cake's version? that causes that to be. Let's have a look-see at these. Ah, okay. So look. So do you guys see? So you can see you've got the red one. In fact, I'm even going to set this ghost effect to 0 so that you guys can see clearly. So there we go. That answers that question. The kill box is all around, and that's why it works that way. If we were to make, like, I wonder if I can I drag that over to there? Oh, that's an easier way of doing it. All right, that's what I should have done. So you can drag a costume. I forget that you can do that because it doesn't come up that often. You can drag a costume to another sprite. You can just click on the costume that you want to drag and then just drop it on another sprite. And then when you go, that costume will be there. Well, that would have been a bit easier than the way I got you guys to do it. So now, oh, yes. So the other thing that we need to do is we need to make the kill zone go a little bit underneath. So we need to change Y by -10. So now if the code's like that, you can see we've got this little red box underneath the purple box. Because it's always going to the player, but it changes X by -10, which means it goes a bit lower than that. All right, so if you want to have it set up more that way, that's how it would work. And also, I have been reminded on how you can easily transfer costumes from one sprite to another. Oh, Darpy Darp is ready. Fantastic. All right, and then that's probably the last one we have time for. I don't think anyone else has volunteered. As always, I need to file, save as copy. I'll figure that out later. As always, you can, if you aren't able to be in chat, feel free to leave a YouTube comment or a Scratch comment on my Scratch account with your game. Just say, hey, check out this game, because I'd love to play your games. All right. What was the other one? Darpy Darp, that's it. Okay, Darpy Darp. Let's see. Come on. Search. Darpy Darp. Alrighty. Let's have a look. View all. And where is the platformer? This looks good. I think, is this it? Yes, William Doro Gaming's. Alrighty, nice. Oh. Arrow keys to move, space to jump. What's up there? Change Y by 16, change Y by -16. Next level. Oh no, why move? Lava. Next level. Timer. Oh, there's nothing in timer. Where's timer? X move. Timer. I think it might be the timer that's stopping. Let's see. because I can't get it to move. Set potential time updated to 0. Wait, change potential time updated by 1. Have a bit of a look at this, Darpy Darp. Oh, done fixing? All right, let's refresh. Have you clicked save? Hopefully the updates have gone live. Hey, there we go. Uh-oh. It's a terrifying flying scratch. And there we go. Make this bigger. Don't go here. Uh-oh. Come on. Don't go here, you say. Uh-oh, can I not jump? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Come on. Up we go. Up we go. Huh. But avoid this falling lava. Safe. Huh. There we go. Good job. Good job. Very, very nice. And you've got like a timer in there as well. That's fantastic. So we can all, so yeah, by all means, guys, what you can do is you can go to Darpy Darp's game or a Williams game. See if who can beat Williams. Sorry, not Williams' game. Who can beat Blake's 09 Infamous's game, like I did. Write your comments in chat if you manage to beat it. And if we play Darpy Darp's game, we can see who gets the lowest time. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So, as always, remember to write comments in the YouTube channel if you have requests for future streams you'd like me to do. We're going to be doing these every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 3:30 p.m. as normal. Next week, it'll be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. The next stream, Monday, because you guys will all be going back to school, we're going to have a very chill Coder Dojo. We're not going to do a lesson. We're going to talk about the Global Game Jam, and I'm going to show you guys how you can download some free games from the Global Game Jam, which is an event where a lot of local game makers make games. And it's a fantastic event, and this could be you in a couple of years. When the Global Game Jam, I'll talk about it more there, but basically it's like we're going to do some game appreciation of some games that we've played, that local people in here in Perth have made that are really clever and really cool, and they put them up online for you guys to download for free, and they made them in one weekend. And some of the games are very elaborate, they're very clever. They use Unity, and they're very good. So that's what we're going to do on Monday, because back to school Monday, I figured we'd do something nice and relaxed. And then I'll let you guys know on Monday what lessons we're doing on Tuesday and Thursday. Remember to put your stuff in the studio. You can find each other through the studio. Remember to like and star, each people in the Coder Dojos, their Scratch projects. Have a bit of a play of each other's Scratch projects. But yeah, hope you guys have had fun. So until I see you guys on Monday for some good fun gaming time, then just stay awesome, be cool to each other, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time, ninjas.